last session, we left... God, what even happened last session? We left Drake Mount. At some point.
Into the forest.
Yeah.
Got attacked.
Yes. Yeah, we went through the forest, over the river.
Through the woods,
You
the grandmother's
guys
house we
got
go.
harassed by a potion seller, and nobody wanted anything to do with them.
They were sus.
They were.
They were
as fuck.
sus.
Sus as heck. Yeah, and then you guys continued on where you found a broken cart full of crates that seemed to be carried on a cart of the brave... God.
The
I can't even remember! Thank you!
And the Emerald Alliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that script ain't such a bad idea now, is it?
Yeah, listen, I wasn't prepared for my summary, okay?
Don't
Prepared
worry,
for like
we got
everything
you.
else. But yes, you found a cart of the Dashing Ravens carrying a whole bunch of stuff on it. Mostly Emerald Alliance boxes, one of the major trading guilds of Idavoll. But when you went to kind of inspect around, you were ambushed by bandits, which you have swiftly taken care of.
Which I take full responsibility for, and I'm sorry.
Listen, it was fine. We needed to learn, and we learned.
It's okay.
We did learn.
I was up a tree. I was fine. I don't
Combat.
know. You guys, I don't know. I was fine the whole time. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. It was easy.
Absolutely bodied some of the bandits, so it's fine.
Yeah, it was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, I'll open one.
Okay. Alright, then you put your knife into the crate, you start to pry it open. It comes off fairly easily. Most of these crates don't seem like they were really put together to withstand someone breaking into them. And so in this crate, marked for the Emerald Alliance, you find that it is full of just various colors of linens and looks like maybe a rug or two with some very Aket-inspired designs embroidered into them.
Hey, I just want to make sure everybody remembers we need to get out of here. The Anima's still going kind of insane, and I don't want to get sick.
Good point. So
So
why don't you guys make that quick?
So we'll just pack up the rest of the crates and let's confirm if there's no body real quick, and then that'll be the last thing, and then we'll just get out of here. How's that?
Fair enough.
Whatever.
Sounds
just
good.
Make it quick.
So Julia will take like the original quest and ask Arca to politely walk with them again to follow the blood trail that we were looking previously, sans the bandits that we took care of, and just to see if we find a body of any kind.
Okay, Arca nods his head in agreement and readies his axe in case there's more trouble to be found.
Excuse me.
So probably around here?
Yeah, I think.
If it went off in this direction, it'd probably somewhere in the bushes?
Alright, so you guys poke around in the bushes trying to scan as you step over some of the bodies of the bandits from before. And pushing aside one of the bushes, which you notice has blood spatter upon it, you do indeed find the crumpled body of what you assume to be the driver. They appear human in form, wearing very simple clothing, and it appears they took quite a few arrows that brought about their demise.
Damn.
Oof. Julia turns ahead. Well, we found someone.
We found
Don't know who.
We
But
found
we found them.
That's great, but can we get a move on? I mean, they're already gone.
Can I just real quick investigate and see have they anything identifiable that we can bring back?
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation for me.
Okay. Let me my sheet roll. Get it up.
You know, I just see Narcellus was creeping closer to Taffy over there.
Yeah, just
Ooh.
Taffy's just kind of frozen, doesn't want to move.
Okay, so yeah, so you search the body, and you do see on his, like right over his breast, he has a little brooch, and it's just a very simple pin that has a couple of raven feathers tucked into it, along with a couple of like little chains, like kind of almost something you'd think like a charm that's hanging from it, made of silver. That's really kind of the most outstanding thing on him. So you go ahead and you'll take that, as you kind of assume, well, dashing ravens, raven feathers. Maybe this is kind of his like guild identifier. All right, so
we'll take everything.
All right, so you load up the 2 boxes that you did take, them being, well, the second one at least being rather heavy, having the heavy linens in it. You take the other 2 boxes. One of them feels very light. It's about like a medium-sized crate. You're able to hold it by yourself. It's, with giving it a little shake, it seems like it has a lot of like loose things in it, but you can't really tell what it is. And this one is marked actually with a Dashing Raven logo on it, rather than the Emerald Alliance. And the final crate is very small, only maybe about a couple feet wide. You hold it, you can't hear anything in it. It has no markings on it other than what appears to you to be the symbol of Valgard itself. A symbol that many equate with the kingdom in general or the royal family. So you load all this onto Sterkin's cart. He does a little rearranging around to make it all fit. And as you guys finish, he says, all right, well, as long as we're ready to go, I know there is a homestead just down the road. We should be able to get there just before nightfall. All right, so you guys continue on down the road, taking maybe only a stop at one point so the horse can have some water. But otherwise, you keep up a very good pace. And as night is beginning to fall, you see a farmstead appear before, well, appear. It comes.
It appears out of thin air.
Yeah, right? It appears. But you guys come upon a small farmstead. It's rather quiet, being now nighttime, as this time is usually when most people will be going to bed or wrapping up for the evening.
Yo, this is a bop.
Yeah.
I like how the song is just called Farm.
Oh, you can actually see the name of it.
Yeah, I can see it.
The audible version
Farm.
of Farm. Just Farm put into music. In its raw
Farm.
form.
The embodiment and soul of Farm.
And you see the figure standing there, in the dim light of a single torch that they have lit, is a bugbear. Essentially, they are very tall, covered in black fur all down her arms and her body. Her face has like an orangey color to it, and she's dressed in very simple clothing that's covered in a lot of mud and dirt from her day of work. And as you approach, Sterkin will kind of take to the front of the group and gives a wave to her to get her attention. She turns and she says, "Oh, well, hello there." She comes and walks over to the group. "Well, it's not often we get 2 sets of visitors in one day. Are you traveling to Valgard as well?"
Narcellus is going to kind of roll his eyes a little, and it's going to be like, yeah, because 2 sets of travelers can't possibly be going to the biggest city in the country.
Dude.
So
That's the point.
Chill
Well-
out.
Well, this is a fairly well-traveled road, but still, it's often uncommon for people to stop, I suppose. But the other, I believe, she tilts her head thinking about it as she tries to recall. Not quite sure who they were. They didn't seem intent to stop, though from the looks of it, they were rather seriously wounded, so I can only hope they made it all right.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o.
But,
Did you Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Did you happen to catch what they were talking about by chance? Out of curiosity's sake. We can gossip, it's fine.
She just laughs at that. Well, I think if someone was talking to themselves, I would be quite concerned for their health. But no, they didn't say anything as they ran by.
Okay, thank you.
But you all are more than welcome to stay. We do have some extra places to sleep if you'd just like somewhere to stay until the morning.
He's had this question on his mind ever since they got attacked back in the forest, and he'll lean real close to him, look up at him, how much shorter he is, and he'll just go, "So, we gonna talk about what happened back there? You just made stuff happen. You didn't tell me you were a magic user too."
Arca stares down at Nershellus for a few moments in silence and shrugs. I wouldn't call myself a magic user, to be quite honest. It's difficult to explain.
Wait, so you can't explain? What do you mean it's difficult to explain? You're using spells, aren't you?
Arca shakes his head. No, not. I don't think that's what a spell does, typically.
What? And he's just completely confused.
I understand it about as well as you do, quite honestly.
It's never to make you mad.
What was it?
Said, all right, remind me never to make you mad.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough feat for you.
I just like the idea the
You
board gets
abrasive little
angry.
shit.
Shut up, Yavari.
Bite me.
Okay,
hurt me.
everybody. Let's settle down. We're gonna have we're about to have some dinner soon. Hopefully, I feel like we're all a little bit hungry and maybe a little bit cranky after today.
And just in that moment, the bugbear will reappear in the doorway and
thank God
gestures for everyone. All right, you all can
Thank
come
God.
on in, and Sterkin, if you want, you can go bring your horse around the side. I'll help you get her taken care of.
But namely, he's going as he moves through the house. He's going to take a look at especially the front door, but mostly take note of the windows, the doors, see if they're locked. That sort of they have locks on them, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So you look around. The front door has a lock on it. But your expertise with the Padlock Guild, you can tell right away this is not of padlock quality. It's a rather simple lock that doesn't really look all that great. It's kind of rusty. Looks like a screw fell out of it at one point, but it's hanging on for dear life. And
afraid to touch
the couple of windows throughout the house are unlocked. That you see.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man, we can make bank off this.
Yavari turns to Taffy and is like, I see a plan formulating in your head. Leave these poor people alone.
It just kind of makes like a, well, I'm just trying to listen. I'm just making sure that nothing bad happens to these poor folks. All right, any like random, we were right next to some brigands. Just a couple of like, how long is it? It would take us about an hour, like however long ago it was.
Yeah, probably like a couple hours. Yeah.
And if they're brazen enough to hit a wagon, like, two people living out in the middle of a homestead by themselves, they're easy pickings.
You
And he's
know,
trying to
if
keep
they're
his.
stupid enough to leave their door looking like that and their windows unlocked, then maybe it's karma at that
Oh,
point.
damn.
Wow.
The Taffy's like,
Damn.
all right, well, okay. I mean, sure. Let's, we could, say that. But listen, I'm just trying to be a good Samaritan. All right. I'm just trying to help them out so that they don't go and like get robbed or killed or stabbed in the middle of the night, that sort of thing. That's what our guild does. Is we make sure that the common folk can like keep their stuff.
Oh, you said there was food, right?
Yes, if you all would just like to have a seat, I will bring all of that out for you shortly.
He's making sure that like, okay, so he's looking around. He's looking at the table. This is for 2 people. This is an awful big table. A lot of plates set out.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of like looks around, like inspects the table, looks at its legs, and if you need me to make a roll, let me know. But specifically, he's trying to figure out: do they sort of have this dining configuration? Like, is it just set this way, like constantly, or did they like pull it out recently? He's trying to figure out if they usually expect guests, because it sounded like that when because when we first arrived, they seemed a little surprised. They were like, "Oh, wait, that's right. You want to stay? That's just sure." But this would seem to lead Taffy to believe anyway that they expect company regularly.
Okay. So what exactly are you looking for?
Like a leaf from the table, or
he's trying to intuit if they actually do expect company regularly, or if this was just like they set this out like hastily, either specifically for us or for someone else earlier today. So he's looking for like scratch marks in the floor, if the rug's been like scooted around, or if everything seems to be very settled.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation for me.
Got to move the camera. All right, investigation. Oh man, he's not great at this. All right. I can't steal this table. What is?
Oh,
wow.
Doing a sleuth.
Nice. All right. So as you're inspecting around the table, you first look for, well, I guess on the table itself, maybe, is this a couple tables pulled together? Was there like an extension put into the table, like a leaf? But it seems to be made of solid wood as one whole table, from what you can tell. There's no seams, there's no anything like that. You look on the floor, there's, of course, the nice little rug set up under the table. But it has probably been there for a while. Because as you pull back a corner of the rug, you can tell the floor underneath it is in better shape than the rest of the floor. Like the rug has been covering it for some time.
Okay.
There's really no major scuff marks or anything. Everything seems to be it seems to just be there,
Okay.
Not hastily put together.
He
Other than maybe the dishware that's a little all over the place.
A little all over the place. Okay. How many plates are set out? There's like,
looks like there. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Is there as many as we see, or is there like more or less?
I was gonna say when I made this, the plates were just there.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm asking, just to verify.
So you're good. Assume. You're good. So it seems that she has set up enough plates for all of you guys. Assumingly that, she was told how many people were outside when her wife came in to tell her.
Okay,
And then there is one extra plate for Sterkin.
okay, so the plates were set out in response to us. They weren't already there.
Yeah. I mean, they're all very clean and well taken care of with your typical kind of wear and tear on them, like they're used regularly.
Okie dokie. He's gonna take like a little splinter of wood, sort of use one of his claws to kind of sharpen it into a toothpick, stick it in his mouth, and he kind of leans back, hands behind his head, and just sort of waits.
Nice. All right, so as you all get settled onto the table, Kyrjal will eventually come out with a couple other things of food.
So I heard you had somebody who like got hurt or something.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm like already forgetting my voices here. Yes, we had someone pass by the farmstead. Oh, I believe it was earlier today, Agiath told me. Apparently very wounded, but I didn't get a good look at them. I was inside cleaning at the time.
I see. And he's just like smacking his lips, like taking another giant bite out of this hunk. He's like,
Ugh.
You guys really don't get that many people out here?
Not many that stop. And she looks towards the front door with a furrow of her brow. Many people seem to think the forest nearby is cursed, but I think they're just being ridiculous as she waves her hand in a sort of dismissive way.
So it's just you and your wife, you said? This is quite a lovely home. What do you do out here exactly?
Oh, we're just farmers, I used to live in Valgard some years ago, but I didn't quite enjoy the city life. When I met Agiath, we decided we'd settle out here. She gestures around to the house. Most of this we built with our two hands, in fact.
Impressive.
Oh, that's really lovely and very admirable. I can imagine. It's probably not an easy transition because the city has, so many conveniences, and being out here, I imagine you have to be pretty self-reliant.
Yes, indeed, and it's grown hard recently. A lot of our crops haven't been doing that well, which has both of us rather stumped. She gives a shake of her head. I mean, I wasn't really much of a green thumb myself to begin with, but Agiath knew much more about farming and livestock tending than I ever did. But she seems to be growing frustrated lately that our crops just aren't producing as much, and we've had to take more trips to Valgard or Drakemound to get what we need to get by.
Do you know if any other nearby farms are having similar issues? Maybe it's I admit I don't know much about farming. Is the weather maybe something in the soil for any of you?
She just shrugs and shakes her head. Nothing that I know of. We've looked at the soil, everything seems fine. The weather has been typical, but the only thing that's really changed is I suppose that the forest nearby has been, oh, what do you call it? I don't know. The travelers have been saying something about the trees are withering away or something like that, but really I think they're just being ridiculous.
Yulia will kind of eye Narcellus since they remember him mentioning something wrong about the trees and kind of his mental note.
Narcellus is making eye contact with Yulia, but he's going to wait until after Yavari and Arca goes before he says anything.
Yeah. So, Yavari, would you like to speak up?
I'm gonna quiet
Actually, my question was already answered. So.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
So you don't have anything?
No. I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna quietly take my
Let's say,
bubble bath.
did you have any thoughts about what she said, or anything Yavari wants to add to it?
Yavari is kind of curious about like them living so close to the forest, and the forest, like, I don't know, probably has a track record of having bandits nearby, and oddly enough, due to Taffy's expertise, she notices that their house is like not well guarded. So she's just curious how have they remained so safe?
I mean, she's more than welcome to ask.
Oh,
if you wanted.
this is true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess Yavari will just like lean over the table past Narshalis and be like, "So, do you get a lot of bandits around here? You know, you seem pretty untouched as far as robberies go, I guess, from what I can see."
Oh, well,
What's your tell me your secret? No, she doesn't say that part.
Tell me your secrets.
well, I suppose it helps. We have many dogs who run around the farm. I think most of them scare the odd bandit off, but it does help when you have a wife like Agiath, who most people tend to look at her and run the other way in fear.
Makes me wonder about the other guy.
Hmm.
I suppose it's very possible he may not have wanted to stop after seeing her. It's very unfortunate, really.
So what you're saying, if I'm interpreting this right, you have buried bodies before.
I'm sorry?
You know what? Stupid question. Thanks for the meat.
You're
She just
welcome.
looks down and starts like politely cutting her meat, but she's not actually eating it.
Well,
Oh my
Just like
God.
casting cantrips just to try and slowly cook it.
Yeah,
I
really?
cast the illusion cantrip.
Oh, if I make it
If
look
only
like
that
it's
actually
cooked,
worked.
like cooked.
Right, cast an illusion, it looks cooked. Just
it's
fool
like,
yourself.
oh my god. Just fail my own will save. I can do this.
Yeah,
Honestly, casting illusion to make it look like she's actually eating it.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there you go. Like she keeps eating, but the meat never goes away. I don't understand.
Oh,
I didn't make that much.
magic trick.
Magic trick.
Exactly.
If you want to go ahead, Arca.
oh yes. Arca looks over to Narstellus and points at him while he's like cutting up like a huge chunk of this hunk of meat, like basically raw meat, and comments, "Didn't you say wasn't the forest freaking you out? What did you see from it exactly?"
This is actually what Narcellus was gonna bring up. He looks at Arca and he's like, "Oh, I don't know how quite to explain it. It's the trees. No, not even the trees. It's like the air was the anima, the thing that all living things are made up of. It feels like I don't know, like there's just so much of it. Normally, trees don't produce that kind of stuff. Really, I've only seen anything similar towards the crystals in the Underdark."
Hmm.
And he'll look at their host and he'll be like, "You wouldn't happen to know if anything's going on with the anima around here, would you?"
Virgil scratches at her chin as she thinks that over, and when Narcellus mentions the Underdark, she seems to like quirk an eyebrow, but she doesn't mention anything about it. However, before she is able to respond to his question, you hear footsteps coming in as the door opens into the dining room, and Agiath and Sterkin rejoin you guys. So I drag both of them in here. And Kurgel looks up and smiles and says, "Ah, welcome back. Everything go all right?" And Agiath nods and smiles. "Ah, yes, we took care of the horse, and everything should be all tied up for the evening." And she'll motion for Sterkin to go have a seat at the other end of the table, which he does so quietly. Or actually, he'll walk over, but he won't sit down. He just kind of like steals some food onto a plate and just eats quietly in the corner.
This poor man.
He's very hungry.
Traumatized.
We are going
Yeah.
to drag him to the ends of hell, and he's just not going to be able to do anything about it.
Right. But then Kurgel will look up to her wife and kind of tells her what Narcellus had said about the Anima and his question about the trees. And Agiath, she says, "Oh, I had been noticing something odd too," as she comes around the table so she can like talk better to Narcellus over here. My wife here, of course, she doesn't agree with me, but I too feel as if the Anima over there has been wildly just out of sorts, and I've been hoping to maybe go take a look into it myself, but I have my hands full here around the farmstead. It's just I fear whatever is going on in that forest is affecting our crops here. And from what I understand, there's even been some other people near and around Drakemount who have been experiencing similar issues.
Narcellus kind of nods his head as she talks. He's not really making eye contact, and ever since he saw the dragonborn quirk her eyebrow at him, he's kind of keeping his head down. But he's listening and he's nodding his head, and he's like, "That would make sense if something was wrong." And he looks towards Sterkin, and then he looks towards the rest of the party, kind of seeming to wonder if he should even speak up about it, because on one hand, he's like, it's none of my business, but then he's also really curious about it, so he's like, I would offer to, give you a little bit more information about it, but currently I'm in the middle of a job here, and I don't think that I should get.
"Oh, well, I'm sure Sterkin wouldn't mind, would you, dear?" As she comes around the table over to Sterkin and, like, gives him a very rough pat on the shoulder. Kind of meant playfully, but she is far stronger than she appears, as Sterkin, like, kind of nearly drops his plate of food. And he's like, he coughs a little as he finishes what's in his mouth and says, I mean, I wouldn't mind to wait if they would like to investigate this for you guys, or at least I could always pay them now and continue on. Valgard isn't that much farther from here.
Are you sure? You did pay us to get you there safely.
Yes, well... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's fine.
No,
Go ahead.
go.
Oh, I just forgot what I was going to say anyway, so it's fine.
Yavari opens her mouth like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. For once,
Aw.
Yavari decides to shut her mouth.
Aw.
Man.
But Sterkin will nod and just gives a shrug of his shoulders. As far as I know, there's usually not too many bandits hanging too close to Valgard. I'm sure most of them don't want to take their chances with the Royal Guard there. So, if you'd like, we can part ways here, and I'll take all the rest of the Raven stuff back to them in Valgard so they can get all that taken care of.
I don't know. You look kind of... Don't take this the wrong way. You look kind of weak, and, bandits are sort of, like, attracted to weak people. Are you sure you want to go alone? It feels... I hate leaving a contract unfinished.
Yavari, if he says he can do it, he can do it. Besides, I'm really curious about this forest.
And Agiath will speak up before Sterkin can. "Well, I can always go with him, I suppose. It shouldn't take us longer than a day to get there and back. At least then I can keep an eye on you, huh?" She gives Sterkin another pat on the shoulder that nearly sends him over. And he just kind of gives her like an awkward smile before like going back to his food.
It's like, oh god.
And then just says between bites, yeah, that's fine. At one point, he did promise a magical item. Or something interesting. He's going to hand you what at first looks kind of like your average, how would I describe it? It's cylinder in shape, made of like hardened leather, so almost kind of what you'd expect a water skin kind of to be made of, but it's much sturdier and doesn't kind of fold around as easily. It has like a little cap that you can cork and uncork on it, and he holds it out to you, Mari, and he says, I know it's not much, but I got this off of that weird wagon that we passed on one of my trips one day. You might like it, as he hands it over to her. It's, what was the name of it? I think they called it some bottle of boundless coffee. I don't know.
Oh.
You can
Oh,
much coffee out of this
Decanter of coffee.
Oh my god, Yuvari is, I think Yuvari can retire now.
Adventure over. Acquired what I wanted.
Acquired in
We're parting ways.
Once dinner and that and all the food is put away and taken care of, Kurgil will help you guys kind of find places to sleep. There's unfortunately only the one bedroom in the house, but she does pull out like extra blankets and pillows. She helps set up like, a nice little area in the living room, on some of the couches, really wherever they can find room to put you all.
After a minute, he looks at Yulia and he's like, I have to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Why are you even here helping people? You're a tiefling. They're all gonna look at you like you're some kind of monster.
Yulia kind of gives a sigh because this is something they've kind of heard before. And this is where they kind of just lean back. They're very relaxed, and this is kind of tell like they're just opening up and says, I've grown up hearing all sorts of things. I'm either accepted in some places, I'm tolerated in other places, or, like you said, I'm just looked at as a monster. But I grew up hearing so many stories about, all walks of life. So I just can't help but be curious on where my story is going to lead. And I'm going to be barred from some places. I'm going to be welcome in other places. But that's not going to stop me from, seeing where I can go next. So it sounds very vague and probably, flamboyant, but I guess I'll tell you about it some other time. Kind of how I grew up, but I'm just curious to find out what's out there. Is all I can say.
He kind of glances at Tove as she's sleeping and can vaguely hear echoing footsteps as Yavari approaches in the other room. So he kind of says under his breath, he's like, you said that some people accept you, but what do you do if nobody does?
You just find people who do. Because there's someone out there who's going to accept you. I only met you really today, and I think you're perfectly fine.
I knew I shouldn't have asked you. Never mind.
Aw.
Aww.
Yulia, kind of maybe look a little taken aback, but they just kind of accept it, because, just that, I feel like they kind of have an understanding at the moment, and they just kind of accept that there's a threshold that Narcellus is not ready to cross yet, and they said their piece, so they're just kind of content.
all of you are going to go ahead. You'll eventually close your eyes, get some shut-eye for the night, and now this is, for D&D, called a long rest, whenever your characters rest for, like, a typical night of sleep. So all of you will regain all of your hit points and any spell slots or anything else that you used during combat yesterday. And you all wake up to the smell of breakfast being cooked from the kitchen.
Ooh.
As it seems Kyrgyl awoke very early. It's probably just a little after dawn at this point, as the sun comes in and pretty much helps wake you all from your slumber. So yes, you enjoy your meal, and as that gets finished up, Agiath will kind of meet you all outside, which we will go ahead and I'm gonna swap over to that one.
Oh, Jesus, I'm in the middle of the forest.
Why are you out there again?
Farm!
Oh, God.
Just always in the trees.
Oh,
A clammy boy.
Jesus. Yeah, really. I really appreciate you guys going to investigate this. I do hope you all be safe and can figure out what in the world is going on out there. Oh, yes, if you head back east, it will be a southern path just before you hit a bridge over a river. You probably would have passed over it if you came from Drake Mountain.
Oh, wait, isn't that where we saw those shady potion dealers?
Yeah, that Vader.
Uh-oh.
Were they in
no.
a purple wagon by chance?
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
they often enjoy setting up shop over there. I think they get a lot of travelers that way, but you should stop in and say hello. They're usually quite friendly.
Oh, don't worry. I have every intention of stopping in and giving them a piece of my mind.
Agiath just kind of gives him a nervous smile.
Duvar is mumbling under her breath. She's like, that damn satyr.
So as you walk by, two very familiar figures are out there beside the wagon once more. The Genasi Atienne is sitting back. Actually, I'm going to put her a little back here. She's just sitting back against a tree, seeming to be relaxing with like a little journal in her lap. And Autumn, meanwhile, is leaning against the cart, apparently messing with like a pouch with some herbs in it, maybe sorting out a few things. And as she hears footsteps, she looks up excitedly, and as soon as she sees all of you again, her excitement immediately fades to realization and then irritation. As she just gives a roll of her eyes and is like, oh, it's you all again.
Yeah, lovely to see you, Autumn. That was a conversation we had.
Yes, it was. Didn't you guys just go that way the other day? What are you doing back over here?
It's almost like we did our job.
It seems pretty fast for you. You've already gotten back from Valgard. If that's where you were heading.
And what about you? Have you finally sold the junk you had for sale?
It's not junk! She immediately will snap at him.
I take that as a no!
Whatever. Oh, well, I see you at least got rid of the troublemaker.
Troublemaker?
Which one?
Troublemaker.
I don't know.
Yeah,
how
Fitting.
Yeah, that scraggly guy with you? Sterkin? Don't you guys know who he is?
Sterkin?
Oh,
he's a
him.
farmer.
He's not a
Yeah,
troublemaker.
Spurgeon's a farmer.
She just like snorts and laughs at them. Oh, yeah, farmer, sure. She tucks away what she was messing with and like leans over on her staff with a smirk across her face. Rumor has it that he isn't really what he says he is. And I've heard it from many credible sources.
Wow, that would surprise me so much. So much.
Would it?
Marcellus is gonna kind of get a little bit closer to the cart, a little bit interested in seeing closer what they have for sale.
Okay, so you're kind of looking at the cart now.
Mm-hmm.
So you come to the cart. She does indeed still have the 3 potions from the other day she was trying to sell you guys.
Wow.
But there are
Good for yourself.
Oh, shut it. But there are a couple of new bottles on the shelf. 2 of them are red in hue that remind you of a health potion, and there is one that's a very deep blue color.
Marcellus is gonna kind of be interested in the red potions. He's like, I know Toad is probably not feeling so good today. It might not be a bad idea to actually give these guys some money.
We're actually giving them money to give us their scam potions?
Well,
They are not a steam.
Unless you have a couple of red potions shoved up your ass, then yeah.
Listen, Autumn takes a breath and straightens up as she brushes her hair back and tries to organize herself a little. Listen, we might have gotten off on the wrong hoof the other time we met. Listen, I'm really just a beginner alchemist, and admittedly, these 3 potions, as she motions to the one she had tried to sell you guys the other day, admittedly, these are some of my first attempts at trying some new recipes that may or may not have gone very well, but I can assure you, as she picks up one of the red bottles, these at least are... Shit, I lose my train of thought. These are indeed health potions, and if you're planning on continuing your adventure out here, they could come in handy.
You know what? Maybe I will buy one, but first I've got a question for you.
And what's that?
What do you know about this forest? And he kind of looks to the left and surveys the large entrance in the cluster of trees.
Autumn will set the potion back down as she looks over to the forest and gives a grimace. Honestly, it gives me bad vibes. I'm probably not nearly as magically inclined as Atienne, as she gestures back to her partner, who seems to not really be bothered by the party. She's just still writing in her journal.
Good for her.
Right? But Autumn will continue. A lot of people say it makes them uncomfortable, or I think I've heard 1 or 2 people say they felt pretty sick going in there. A lot of other people have been really curious about it, but I've definitely intend on keeping my distance.
He'll just wait for the others to speak up.
Okay, Yulia, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, so Yulia, will kind of step closer to Autumn, keeping, that friendliness she tried to have with her before, and they'll just kind of go, I know yesterday was a little bit rough, but honestly, I am more glad to see you both doing well. Considering we ran into some trouble yesterday with some brigands and ne'er-do-wells who try to take a couple of swings at us. But I would just like to ask, did you happen to run into any trouble yesterday?
Did you? She kind of looks at Yulia for a moment and then just gives a shrug. No, we've had no problems here. Really, bandits aren't very common in this area. Who wants to steal from farmers after all?
Yeah, you never know. Food is a valuable asset to some. So have you two just been here the entire time since yesterday?
Yeah, we tend to hang out here for a while, and we'll probably have to head back to Valgard soon to our actual shop. I'm running pretty low on supplies here, but this is a pretty nice spot for us.
I would say so. It's got a couple of paths. Surely you meet a number of people out here, but well, I do hope that when you do leave, that you will be careful. Even though it looks like you both are well fit to handle yourselves.
Well, thank you. We'll certainly do that.
As she prattles on about the ingredients, you see Yavari's eyes get wider and wider. She's like,
Oh my god.
God,
What
you
is this woman
are
doing?
An idiot.
Jesus. She's like, hey, I was just experimenting.
Experimenting, so you decide, as you're experimenting, what is a good way to profit off of this? Oh, I know. Let me just make some bullshit potion and think it's okay. Your idiocy just amazes me. Mind blown. I can retire now. Knowing there are people like you in this world. Yavari goes into this really deep tangent about the dangers of alchemy, and you have to be very careful. And then she's just like, I can't do this, guys. I'm going over here. And she's like, you fucking idiot. Like, at the top of her lungs.
Yulia kind of has this wide-eyed look, and like you see their upper body lean away from Yavari as they go off their tangent. It's like,
It's like, whoa.
Autumn just like stares wide-eyed at her as she goes on. She doesn't even say anything. She just blinks like, oh.
Yavari got triggered.
She did.
So what exactly have you heard about Sterkin?
Oh.
Oh.
Well.
Wow.
She, kind of clears her throat a little. I suppose it really started when he passed by here one day when I was out here. And he came up to us and asked if I had... Oh... Atian, how did he word it? And this whole time, even when Yavari was yelling at Autumn, Atian looked up, also equally shocked, but just kind of lets her have it. So, and as her name is called, she's like, "Oh, what?" And Autumn's like, "That Sterkin guy. What did he want again when he came by?" And Atian's like, "Oh, he tried to ask us if we had any potions with." He was specifically looking for potions with negative effects, not poison, but something similar, I suppose. And Autumn nods vigorously as if the memory's coming back to her. Yeah, he was really shady, and I didn't really like how he was approaching us and asking that question. It just made me incredibly uncomfortable. But between that and when I've gone to Drake Mound before and talked to some of the people, a lot of people say they've just seen him with some very shady characters around town, and someone suspects him to be maybe even part of Thieves Guild.
Yulia kind of pales hearing that.
Uh-oh.
They just go really pale and just kind of go, oh, shit.
Marcellus is like, it seems strange considering you were attacked by bandits on the road. Either way, I don't know if I can really trust what you're saying.
What did the bandits look like? What were they wearing?
Bandit clothes.
Oh, that's very specific. I mean, usually you can tell the Thieves Guild apart. A lot of the times they'll wear masks over their faces to hide their identity, so I've been told. Did you notice anything like that on them?
Narcellus won't be speaking.
Yulia will pipe in with no, but we did find them around a abandoned cart and a dead driver, and they seem to just be waiting for people to show up. And unfortunately for us, or unfortunate for them, since we took care of them, they seem to just be waiting for someone to come by to be interested, and then I don't know, kill them, loot them. Who knows? They were obviously waiting for in a trap-like manner.
I mean, doesn't that seem like suspicious to you guys? I mean, what if like he just led you into a trap?
He just seems so harmless.
Always the quiet ones.
Taffy's pinching the bridge of his nose, like, oh my god.
Did we just stay in his accomplice's house? I need to know this because they were real buddy-buddy.
Oh, isn't that the little... Oh, who was saying something?
Oh, you're fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
So Autumn says, "Oh, isn't that like that little farmstead down the road?"
Yeah, that one.
I mean, I don't know. I've never really talked to them a whole lot. Every time I go by, they seem to usually keep to themselves.
Hmm.
I gotta know what
Usually-
Taffy's thinking.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Same.
Taffy just got his mouth, a hand over his mouth, like, oh. Like, this could be really bad.
Marcellus
Your
is gonna kind of
reputation.
pipe up real quick. He's gonna go, "Oh, guys, the forest is right here. Do you want to go in, or do you want to investigate Sterkin?"
So at the mention of that, Taffy will kind of be like, yes, but real quick, could you guys come over here for a second?
I'll go over.
And he'll beckon Arca over as well.
Yeah.
Oh, zoom.
Zoom.
Yes, zoom.
Zoom in.
To use those wings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So kind of just loud enough just for everyone to hear, but not the wagon people. He's like, yeah, just listening in and looking at their facial expressions. Feels like telling the truth about the alchemy, telling the truth about the bandits. But they're holding some of the back out on us with the forest. So now, typically I'm more of a sales kind of guy. So probably someone else wants to see if they can dig it out of them. I don't want to be walking into another trap.
That would be definitely Yulia's expertise with a little charisma check. See if we can get some information out of him. But Yulia, before we get to that, Yulia kind of takes a deep breath and it just goes, so if what she says about Sterkin is true, then we may have a bit of a bigger problem.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about that.
No. So when everyone was asleep, I went out and checked the extra crates that we had. Just because I'm curious. Yeah. So if he's involved in something with the Thieves Guild, I just let him take away an object that looks like was going to the royal family.
You did what?
Yulia!
Oh.
Well, he needs to die. I do not need the Padlock Guild drugged through the mud.
Yulia is just like, I knew. Go ahead.
It just looked like a gift, but but the letter it mentioned a member of the royal family. So
All right, calm down. I know we came all this way for the forest. But maybe we should just go back to Draketown.
we should be heading to Valgard and making sure that he either takes all that stuff to the Dashing Ravens, or we're probably gonna be in serious trouble.
Yeah, but not without gearing up first.
That is
Listen,
also
we can
very true.
deal with that when we get there. He's probably not gonna if he really is gonna sell stolen goods. He's gonna have to fence the stuff. So we've got a little bit of time anyway. We can always track it down. I can probably hit up the more unscrupulous individuals in the city to see if we can track them down. But we're here now. Let's go ahead and deal with this forest thing.
And Yulia takes a deep breath and just to calm down, because they're kind of, sort of hyperventilating, just heavy breathing. It's like, okay, you're right. One thing at a time. So, what are we all agreeing on?
Maybe we should take a vote.
Yavari just seems like she does not want to be anywhere around this situation.
It's
She
like,
doesn't want to touch her
oh no.
attention at all. You hear her mutter under her breath, "I'm so tired of royals. I'm sick of it."
So Narshalis kind of steps to the side and he's like, I want to go back to town and get some supplies. After all, Toe's not feeling too well, and I'd hate to run into a trap, like you said.
Well, couldn't we... We could see if they have any supplies other than their potions.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it.
Possible.
He actually snaps his fingers real quick, and he's like, Yavari, you said you were an alchemist, right? Any chance we could buy their potions and you do some work on them, get them a, you know, not made of ill will?
Whatever, you know, I could, but like miracles, you know, they're very rare.
He has his little customer service smile on it. He's like, well, if anyone could do it, it would be you.
Oh, you sweet talker, all right. Yavari takes a deep breath, and she's gathering with all of her inner strength not to be an asshole about this. And she looks at Autumn, and she goes, I'm sorry I lost my temper, but alchemy is a very dangerous science as much as it is an art. So I am proposing, and she points between herself and Autumn, I will take your potions off your hand at a discounted price.
Okay, honestly, just take them. You can just have them. I won't even argue with you about that.
You see Yavari kind of have like a little skip in her step. She's like, yeah.
She'll put them all in, like, you know, she'll help you kind of put them all into your bag, and so there were 2 red potions, which are assumed to be health potions of a sort. There's a dark blue one. Oh god, I don't remember what the other 3 were from last session.
One was black, and one was green.
Yeah, black, green, and I think there was like another lighter blue one.
Yeah.
Yep, so you get 6 potions in total, all completely free.
We don't know what any of them do.
Yeah.
Yavari looks back at Autumn, and she holds out her hand, and she's like, thank you for doing business, and I hope you actually take this art seriously next time, because somebody could literally die due to your impulsivity. Have a nice one.
And Autumn, before Yavari leaves, will take her hand to shake it gently, and she says, understood, I will do better next time that I run into you all. And as you ask her to share anything else about the forest, she kind of hesitates at first, but eventually she'll speak up and say, well, honestly, I'd be worried for anyone going in there. I've heard stories that there's some awful creature that's been lurking deeper in the forest, but supposedly, though I've not gone there myself, I hear there's some old shrine that's really deep in the forest, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. I've heard some people say, though, that they think that's where maybe all of the Anima is coming from.
Then Yulia will give him a very nice smile. It's like, thank you for letting us know that. I really do appreciate it. and if you are heading back to Valgard sometime soon, I do hope you two will be very careful going.
Yeah, we'll do. You guys too.
So then Yulia will just kind of step back and go to Narashelis, assuming that he heard everything she said, and she'll go, so what do you think? Does that sound right? Do shrines tend to hold anima in such a way?
He kind of looks kind of a little caught off guard. He's like, I haven't lived up here for as long as you guys. I've never really seen a shrine like that.
But it's possible that Anima would kind of have, I don't know, how would I word this? Like, would be a wellspring origin, maybe?
I honestly don't know. I would have to go and find it myself.
Then I think that's, I think that's where we're going next.
There's the target.
Alright then.
Kind of upon hearing that, he kind of nudges Arca, and then he's like, hey, you know, you seem like you've gotten around and fought a lot. Have you ever run into any spooky shrines before?
Arca shakes his head. I haven't seen anything of the sort, but if there's a beast there, I am all for fighting it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That makes me feel a lot safer. It's like, I mean, he's all yours, man. If we see a big boy, you just go right for him.
Oh, believe me, I will.
Kind of pats him on the arm, like, you tell Tav is getting a little nervous. He's like, man, I got wrapped up in some stuff.
As you guys continue onward towards the forest, your minds reeling with all of this new information regarding Sterkin and everything else, you decide for now you'll focus on the matter most in front of you, which would be the forest. As you take the path downward and you get closer to the entrance, you notice that the environment around you grows quieter as you go, almost as if even the wildlife doesn't want to be here. The trees grow like very closely together, sort of clinging to each other almost for life, as you can see a lot of the underbrush in this area as you first enter the deeper part of the forest. A lot of the underbrush is decayed and dying, and a lot of it is just brown and withered and ugly. Just not right. And as you guys enter this forest, I would like all of you to please roll a Constitution check for me.
Oh,
This is why
God.
we're
No.
Like, this is why we're married.
Yeah. Dude, Bayla's been in my mind like all week. Like, reading my mind with this stuff. Oh.
Oh,
Yulia.
Oh no, it's gonna be I'm sorry, it's just a Constitution, not the save. I'm sorry. So you've already you rolled the right thing.
It comes out the same to me either way.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah,
wait,
you're
so
just gonna click on Constitution on the left and just roll that.
I did that? Oh.
Yeah, you did the save.
Sorry.
Oh,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You're
oh
right here.
boy.
No.
Alright, hold on. So, as you enter the forest, Taffy, you're feeling great. You know, you walk on in.
Walking on
like-
sunshine. Whoa.
Like, you know, you don't really notice anything. Like, yes, it's weird, like the plants are weird, but you yourself feel totally fine. You know, you don't really notice any negative effects or anything weird going on with that. Yavari, I'm just gonna kind of go down the list here. Yavari, you feel very uncomfortable, like very uneasy, like there's a tension in the air from this overabundance of anima that is emanating out of the environment. It almost is kind of making you a little nauseous as well. Like your breakfast suddenly isn't sitting so well in your stomach.
Ooh.
But you keep it together for right now. You're like, it's all right. We'll keep going.
Deep breaths. Deep breath.
Yeah, I just deep breath. Let's see. Yulia and Arca, you guys can also feel the effects of this anima to the point where you both feel like almost a little lightheaded with some of the nausea as well. And just very uneasy. Like there is definitely something not right about this place, and it's just giving you the creeps. And you understand why people wouldn't want to come in here.
Nice.
Norcellis. Oh.
I know.
So go ahead and roll a Constitution save for me.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Mhm.
1 second.
8.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right. So Norcellis, you being one of the more sensitive to the anima and being the one who's really noticed this on your first pass through here, you are very sensitive to this anima now as you are in the thick of it. And it really just starts to overcome you to the point it nearly knocks you off your feet in a way. And you are going to take 4 points of psychic damage.
Oof.
Okay.
As
So when do I
this,
write that?
you're just gonna take 4 points out of your health.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, as you start to kind of get like this awful headache and this dizzy, upset stomach feeling, and you're not having a good time already.
Yeah, Norcellis is gonna kind of stumble and grab onto his head, and after a few minutes of this, he'll kind of go down on one knee, and he won't say anything. He's trying to get his head to stop being quite so spinny, and like everything is turning different colors for him inside his head right now, like the little splotches.
Taffy does kind of chime in with Yavari, maybe now would be a good time to use one of those enhanced potions. Maybe the red one?
That's a good idea.
Oh boy.
Can I roll an intelligence check real quick on one of the red potions?
Let me see. Hold on. Actually, I thought there was like.
Taffy
Oh
does
yeah,
try.
there it is. Yeah, go ahead and roll a medicine check for me. Actually.
Medicine check.
Yeah. We'll do a medicine check.
Okay. I'm so sorry if this is low.
Ooh.
Oh
my God.
Nice. 19. So as you pull out one of the red potions that had been handed to you, or that you got for free, you uncork it, you inspect it, you're kind of giving it a once over, and you as an apprentice alchemist, health potions are probably one of the first things that you learn how to make, as they're vital to a lot of people, especially adventurers. And as far as your knowledge can tell, looking at it, smelling it, everything short of tasting it for yourself, this seems like a genuine health potion.
Okay. I decide to hand it to Norcellis and be like, if you can drink it by yourself, take a sip of this. Drink slowly. We don't want you to choke. But she's still kind of hovering just in case.
He takes it and he brings it to his lips and tips his head back, and he swallows once, gives it a second, takes another sip, and he swallows it again.
Excellent. So as you do, it has like a very medicine-y flavor that you might expect from something that's maybe like cherry flavored almost. And it gives you like a very warm feeling all over, like a very comfortable, warm feeling. and it does almost immediately help the headache subside enough to where you're able to focus on your surroundings a little better. The dizziness and nausea do go away, and you will regain 2 health points,
Okay.
as you are definitely feeling a lot better.
Right. So after a minute, he stands up, and he's still a little wobbly. That the headache is still kind of there. It's like throbbing in his temples. He mumbles out like a soft little "thank you," and rather than going ahead of the group like he had been, he half stumbles, half walks over to Arca and grabs onto his arm dear life. Because he's like, his vision is still a little blurry, and he's like, just let me do it.
Love this.
Arca helps support Narcellus a little bit. He does not complain at all. He pities the kid.
Bird, buddy.
Yeah.
Emotional support, bird.
Yeah.
Would it help if we keep going? Because I doubt standing here is going to make any of us feel better. So, are we sure we want to do this still?
And Marcellus is like, forward or back, you guys choose.
I feel like this is a little bit out of our expertise right now. I say we head back, gather our strength, and try to figure out what else is going on.
Maybe we can find out if there's a way to, like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. You can go. It's all good.
I don't know. Maybe we can ask. I mean, we did talk about going back to Drinkmount. Maybe we can find more people who maybe know more. Maybe, I don't know, maybe find something to safeguard us from whatever's going on in here, because this, and Yulia kind of gestures around to the forest, this is a lot, and this is bad.
Yeah. I mean, look at Nars. He could barely take a few steps in. And if we get any closer to the source, I doubt he will be able to move.
Yeah.
Taffy, would you like to say something?
Arca can go first.
Arca agrees that they should probably go back. He says Narcellus is not doing well with this, and maybe we can I don't want to say hit 2 birds with one stone. God.
Also, real quick, Eliza, check this.
Maybe we can get a task done at the same time by going to Valgard and taking care of business there, and then maybe we can also find someone who has the knowledge to deal with. He waves his hands. All of this.
And you see, seeing as how Narcellus, wanted to come here in the first place, and now is like kind of out of commission. And he's like, yeah, well, yeah, that's not great. Let me think here. I mean, yeah, considering how I'm not really one to attuned with magic, as it were, but if it's affecting you guys this much, probably not great. We'll say this though, considering how I don't know, curses typically work, but from what I hear, they typically get worse the longer you let them fester. So if we do want to deal with this, probably gonna want to deal with it quickly. But if you know someone, then hey, by all means.
Narcellus just kind of makes it sound like he might actually throw up on Arca.
Oh no.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So Yulia kind of steps forward, like, "All right, first things first. Let's just get out of here, and then we'll make our decision."
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Z ain't looking
Yeah.
so good, and we should none of us should probably be standing here anymore. So let's go. And she's kind of like making a gesture, like hurry, let's just go before it gets anywhere.
Before
Yeah.
it gets any worse.
Right. All right, then. Do you guys just want to head straight to Drake Mound? You know, do you want to just get out somewhere and stop for a minute? Otherwise, probably just keep this going. So I think we'll just go right to Drake Mound.
Yeah, Drake Mound is the right across the bridge outside.
Yeah.
We should go
sure.
back into the city.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yes, you guys make your way to Drake Mound, and now, of course, being out of that forest and away from all of the concentrated anima, you all are feeling much better. You know, more like your normal selves that you were before you went in there. The town is sort of buzzing with activity, more than there was upon your first journey here. There seems to be a lot of people more towards the inside of the city, all chatting amidst each other and seeming very excited about something.
I was gonna ask him if he wants to come along to her friend's house so he can tell what he detected in the forest earlier.
He's going to kind of look it up at her. Or he's still clinging to Arca,
Oh,
and he just says, "Yeah, but if you don't mind, can we find a dark spot for me to rest first?"
Yeah, absolutely. We can take our time.
Of course. Arca guides him over. Would this like shade here? Well, I'll ask him here.
yeah.
Arca guides him over to this cluster of trees and the shade in it, and looks to Narcellus, asks, "Does this work okay for you?"
He's touched, but he kind of just shakes his head, and he's like, "I need something a little darker than this. Do you know if there's an inn here?"
Oh, yeah, I actually know the tavern owner. We can go ask him for a room. He'll put it on my tab.
Excellent.
So
Then-
Yavari just kind of leads the way to the
Yes.
tavern.
Taffy says he'll meet you there. He's gonna do some go to the item shop.
And as you are approaching the tavern, it kind of feels almost like there's a lot of eyes on the party all of a sudden, you know, as if people kind of look up from their conversations, seeming suspicious, almost.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And why are you laughing?
Just the uh-oh.
yeah, yeah, right. Gosh, where's all my stuff here? You know, and you know, as you guys approach the tavern, a halfling man dressed in armor, in the colors of what you'd assume to be the guard, kind of stops you guys, and he says, "Oh, hold on now. Where are you all going?"
Minding our own business, sir.
I don't think so. You all look very familiar. As he looks between all of your faces and makes a motion for someone else to come over, as you see couple other guards are kind of making their way over to you guys.
Oh no!
Does Taffy see
Don't.
this?
Yeah, I mean Taffy would see like some armored people heading towards the rest of the party.
Oh,
sure.
boy. Oh, wonderful. Just don't worry about that.
Arca steps between the guards and Narcellus protectively for now.
I have an attack bird.
Yeah.
Have an attack bird.
Yeah, really.
Yavari just sighs so heavily. She's like, "We just got here." Can I try a spell while you're like just an enchantment before we actually go into combat?
I mean, we haven't gotten to combat yet.
I
It's, you know,
mean,
Oh, it feels like we're about to start something.
Yavari's like, come on now, guys. We can settle this. You know, like people, you know, we're just passing through. Can she try to cast charm on the blonde guy who I'm assuming is the leader of this little ambush?
this little halfling guy here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh gosh. Yeah, feel free.
Oh.
Oh
Alright, so
no.
your spell
No.
save was 12. So as you know, you try to give him a little charm and try to talk nicely to him. He looks up at you, very unconvinced, and shakes his head. He says, "Listen now, if you all just come quietly with us, there's not going to be any problems." As he points to the side of the tavern, where you can see now there are posters hanging up on the side of this tavern.
oh.
Oh no.
No.
The first you see. Okay, so as you look at the side of the tavern, he points to posters, and the first one you see, they're all wanted posters. The first one, you recognize this as Sterkin.
Oh god damn it.
With a royal assassination attempt.
Yes, there is a wanted poster hanging with Sterkin with charges against him for being associated with the royal assassination attempt.
Oh my god.
And beside him, you see many other posters depicting the rest of the party. As I will circle through them, we have Tove. We have Yulia here.
Oh my god.
Okay, that does not look like me.
So-
My horns are on my head. On top of my head, not the side of my head.
We've got
Yavari's
Yavari.
freaking out. She's like, what in the 9 circles of hell? What the? Just not having a good time.
Very, very angry looking Narcellis there.
Got the thing, right?
That's the smile.
Arca!
That could be any Aarakocra.
That could... yes.
Oh, and Taffy. At least you're
Perfect.
assuming it is. It's a cat with a padlock.
I
So
have
out of
connections,
all of
man,
us,
that keep me out of
Taffy is
trouble.
the safest.
Taffy's the same. I don't know who that is. That could be any cat.
Maybe. Oh god. As he points these out to you guys, at the same moment the tavern door opens and a large and rather intimidating looking blue dragonborn steps out. And
Uh-oh.
his armor, as you can see, his is like gilded in gold along the shoulder pads, and he walks with authority. And he approaches you guys and he says, "Seeing as how you all are wanted for potential association with a wanted criminal, you will come with us for questioning. That is not a request." Absolutely. What would
Can
you
I
like to
constitution throw? Yeah, do a constitution check.
do? For what?
Just want to see how he's feeling.
Sure, that's fine.
Power through the rest of the poison.
Yeah, right?
Well,
He's going to turn as though he's going to say something, and then he's going to vomit all over the ground.
The Dragonborn kind of makes a face, like,
He's
Like-
sick. He's sick. We need to take him to a doctor. As you can see, questioning at this time is very inconvenient.
Well, he can see our medic in the jail. He kind of rests a hand on one of his swords in a threatening sort of manner, and you can see, like, all the townspeople are just backing the hell up, like, oh no, we don't want anything to do
We
with
don't
this
want
right
any
now.
of this.
We don't want the smoke.
Alright, so Taffy will slink away between the buildings, keeping his head low, his hood high, as he attempts to look around for his contact here in the city in the hopes of helping his friends, while everyone else is shuffled off to the Drake Mound barracks and taken inside, where it's about what you'd expect of a prison. It's dark, it's a little damp, there's like cobwebs kind of all over the walls as they take you into the back into the jail cells and get you guys squared away in here.
Oh boy.
Hop over.
Oh no.
Seeing as how Arca was basically supporting Norcellis, they just kind of toss you guys all into the same cell, and Julia and Tove get put into the other. You know, the male Dragonborn will walk over to the cells where they put half the party in, and he says, I have a few things to discuss, and then I will be back to question you all shortly. Just kind of gives a growl and stalks off with his little second in command following along after him. Is this bottom one also? Is this bottom one also a jail cell? I was kind of thinking that's like the way out.
No, that's the way out, yeah.
Okay, cool. So they're just gonna go down this way.
Immediately upon entering the cell, despite the warm glow of the torches that are on the wall, he feels instantly better. Not completely, but his eyes immediately adjust to the dark, and as he walks a little bit away from Arca, he sits on the edge of the one cot, and he hears Ivari just going off, just raising all kinds of hell and Cain, and after a minute he just kind of laughs, and he's like, yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Aww.
So just at about this time, the door that leads out of the back of the prison opens, and the Dragonborn walks back in with the little halfling trailing along behind him. And he, looks through the jail bars. He stops at the first cell, and he stands with like his hands behind his back. He looks between the three of them, and he says, all right, so which of you is going to tell me why you were seen with a wanted criminal?
Can Narcellis yell something real quick?
Absolutely, feel free.
Just all of a sudden, and in the most childish, boyish voice that he can muster, he just whines, I thought he was a farmer!
Dragonborn quirks a brow and looks towards his cell, but doesn't say anything as he just looks between the.
Oh, you thought he was a what?
A farmer.
Oh, a farmer. Okay.
Julia takes a deep breath, approaches the cell door first, and with a little huff, they just go, as my friend pointed out, we were under the impression that he was a farmer, and all we were doing was just helping him get from Drake Mound to Valgard. Assassination attempt, that's a quite a leap. How did we get from here to there, if you don't mind my asking?
I want to ask questions.
He just gives a huff. He's like, you all must be new around here. As he kind of strolls back and forth between the two jail cells as he speaks, his hands still behind his back. Well, as you all have clearly not heard, just late last evening, there was an attempted assassination against Her Royal Highness Queen Mjarnin. These have gone on for some months now, and as we believe it, Sterkin is currently our #1 suspect. considering I have had multiple reports of all of you seen leaving town with him, I think you would understand us being suspicious.
We weren't even in Valgar last night. We were just outside the city the entire time. And then we came back in this direction just today.
We have witnesses.
Do you? Z seems amused by that.
They're
I
probably
think he's not
in
taking
on
her
it.
seriously.
Oh no.
Narcellis, would you like to say something real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
He suddenly stands up and he runs super fast as his little skinny legs can carry him, over to the bars, which he grabs between his fingers and he shoves his face forward until the skin presses up against the bars and just malforms itself and dents against the cold metal. And he's like, okay, listen. We didn't have time for that because we went into the creepy forest where the people with the caravan are. You know what happened? The Anima made me sick. When I got here, I was throwing up all over the ground. Do you really think that somebody like me could have tried to assassinate somebody like that? I'm pathetic.
Oh,
Beautiful. That was gorgeous.
That was amazing.
The Dragonborn looks at him as, he goes off on his rant, and he looks back towards the halfling, who gives kind of a weird little nod to him. And he looks back to Narcellis and says, "Seems like an awful lot of conveniences in such a story."
And suddenly, Narcellis is like, wait, actually, I can prove it. We bought a bunch of bogus potions that Yuvari should have in their stuff. Didn't you confiscate it from us?
We did, yes. As he makes a motion to the closest guard, and he will quickly hurry off to go and inspect said belongings.
They're
Just
completely
touch the
bogus.
potions.
They're
Nothing
completely
else.
bogus. They told us all the ingredients. Just check them.
Very well. So, if I'm to understand your timeline correctly, you left here with Sterkin, stopped at some farmhouse, bought some potions on the way, went to the forest just outside of town, and now you're back here. What made you all leave with Sterkin in the first place?
Well, we wanted money, but the problem is when we got to the farmhouse, we noticed that the Anima was thick. You're a Dragonborn, you have to know what I'm talking about. The trees around here feel weird, don't they?
And he just kind of hums, but doesn't really give a straight response to that.
He smashes his face against the bars, and he just says, "Look at me, I don't want to die."
The Dragonborn just gives a roll of his eyes, oh, this kid's being so dramatic.
He's literally going to die. What? So dramatic for somebody who's gonna die.
So, he walks back over to the halfling, who, at this point, you can all probably assume he's either important or maybe his kind of second. And he asks him, "Well, what do you think about all of this, Fenton?" And Fenton straightens up and gives a salute and says, "Sir, I believe they are telling the truth, much as you might not want to hear it." And the Dragonborn just growls and continues to kind of pace back and forth as he waits for the other guard to come back. Which he does so. And he comes back over, and he has Yavari's bag in his hands, and he shows him all of the potions inside. With the one... Did Narcellis end up drinking that whole health potion, or did he
No, he took 2 sips out of it.
Okay, so yeah, he kind of holds him up, and he happens to grab the green one and hands it out to the captain. And he looks at it, takes a sniff of it, and instantly recoils ugh, why would you buy this?
In
It
the
was
name
free.
of public safety.
I just wanted to go into the woods.
The name of public safety.
Foolish enough for going in there anyways. As he carefully puts the potion back in the bag so it doesn't break or anything, handling it like it's toxic or something, and dismisses the guard to go put it back where it was. And he turns to everyone in the cells and takes a moment to gather his thoughts. And just as he's about to say something, you hear a female's voice drift in from the entrance of the prison, and you hear her argue with the guard. You can't quite tell what they're saying. But eventually the door opens and an older woman steps in. She's wearing like a simple dress and has glasses over the bridge of her nose. Her hair looks a little disheveled, as if she had hurried over here. And the wrinkles in her face kind of suggest her to be a little older age. Tove's not here, so no one knows who she is. But she comes in, and the Dragonborn steps up, and he says, Mayor Jira, what are you? And she holds up a hand to stop him, and he immediately just shuts up. And she says, Captain Vamtis, I am severely disappointed in your behavior today.
I'm sorry, what's his name?
Vamtis? V-A-A.
Oh, I thought it was Bumpkus. Okay.
Yes.
Captain
Oh
Bumpkus. I'm severely disappointed in your behavior today. And this figure, whom up to this point has been very authoritative, has been very confident, and very much acting like he's better than everyone, he seems to shrink away a little at her rebuttal. And he stammers, and he's like, I was just trying to apprehend these potential criminals. And she says, no. And she walks up to the cell and points towards Tove, who was like sitting back on one of the cots. She hadn't been really feeling too well today, just kind of tagging along with the party, doing her best.
The getting thrown in jail has thrown her into shock.
Yeah, she's just kind of trying to take it all in. And Jira speaks up and she says, You have arrested one of Drakemound's own law-abiding citizens. Honestly, I can't believe the mistakes you're making today. And she kind of continues to berate the captain and goes on about how, he's so quick to judge people and how he should have, taken this more seriously. And she goes on for like a hot minute. And as she finishes, he's like not looking at her. He's like looking off to the side like a kid being scolded. And so she says, Oh no! Oh, Liza's headphones died.
No.
Oh. Rip.
Rip.
Oh.
Oh. Do we want to cliffhanger it?
Silent
Silent with a panic attack.
Panic attack.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
You
All
guys
right.
talk through chat if you wanted to.
Yeah. All right. I will try to wrap this up just so she doesn't miss too much.
Just said,
Oh, okay. And so Jira, so she continues on, and she says, Listen, I think we have these poor people in here for all of the wrong reasons. And she grabs him like by a cloth around his neck. She's like, you are coming with me. And she drags this Dragonborn, who like towers over her by a good few feet, into the other room. And you can hear them kind of talking in like hushed voices, but you can't quite make out what they're saying for right now. But they are absolutely arguing with each other. If anyone would like to take a moment to respond to that.
Narcella still has his face against the bars. It's kind of his eyes kind of just like slide to the side to follow their bodies as they walk through. And his mouth just moves ever so slightly as he mouths and then eventually says the word again and then again. Captain Bumpkin.
Pumpkins.
Oh
Captain Mom.
His name
Oh,
is
no.
Captain Bumpkus now. It's too late. It's
Apparently.
Oh Lord.
God.
Yulia's just stunned, watching this little old woman, go up against a man twice her size, and they're just kind of like, I think this is our way out. Didn't expect a little old lady to be saving us today, but, we're good, I guess.
Excellent. So, okay.
excellent.
So it's perhaps only a few minutes before Mayor Jira comes back in with a guard trailing behind her. And she kind of makes a hand motion at him, and he hurriedly goes to where they had the keys set down and begins to unlock the cells. Starting with where Narcellis and Arca are before moving over to where the girls are. And as he does so, Jira will start talking. She says, "So, as I do not like to judge others' character too quickly, I would like to propose a deal with you all if you would be willing to hear an old woman out." I'm not a
Julia.
fan of throwing people in prison.
I'd like to get out now.
Yavari!
You're back.
Oh, you've already returned.
I'm back. Sorry, you girl had to dissociate for a second.
That's fine.
It's fine. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yay.
You've been let out of jail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're about to get out. Yulia takes initiative. She smiles at the old woman. Is like, I like your style. What is it that you want from us?
Well, it is a rather large request, but I do want to apologize for Captain Vomtus's behavior. He has always been a little rash with these things. But I certainly will not stand by and allow him to accuse people who are most likely perfectly innocent. However, of course, I cannot just allow you all to go freely. But should you agree, hopefully we can come to some sort of arrangement. And Chalice, if you'd like to speak
Oh no,
up.
I'd like to hear what she has to say first.
Okay. But yeah, she has unlocked your cells, so you guys are more than welcome to step out if you'd like.
Immediately just moves out
Yeah.
of the cell.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Just
Freedom.
move out of the
Like
way.
anything you want.
And she'll look them all over, kind of like almost with an inspecting eye to make sure like they're not hurt or too beat up. Even though she kind of sees like Arca probably has like a mark on his jaw from where the captain punched him earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she says, as there is no evidence against you for any association with Sterkin, I'm afraid I cannot completely convince the captain to release all of his accusations against you all. However, if you are willing to perhaps help us in tracking Sterkin down and bringing him to justice, I will be sure that all charges are dropped against you all.
Oh.
Sounds good to me.
Marcellus is just gonna pipe up here.
Mhm.
He's gonna be like, "Look, Grandma. Oh, I'm talking. Oh,
Just
Grandma,
I'm
you
here.
just-
Here.
oh no. Oh,
Fucking
he's like,
gone.
He looks at her from around Yulia and he's like, hey, Grandma, as long as you get a hold on your pet lizard, I'll do whatever.
Not the pet lizard.
Again, I am very sorry for his behavior, and please call me Jira.
Alright, Gina. Just get us on out of here.
Gina.
Yulia, would you like to go ahead?
Yulia kind of steps forward, is like, I will do you a little better and at least inform you what he's carrying on him, because I have kind of accidentally let him take some guild sensitive items with him before we found out all of what's going on.
Oh dear. Well, I can only hope that you are able to catch up with him in time. Though I don't know what he would do with guild possessions. At least as far as we know, the only thing we're aware of is he is certainly involved in the attempted assassinations against the Queen.
Oh.
Did Julia want to say anything else, or
So
just
so-
tell her, I guess, what he has?
Yeah, so she'll make mention that probably, since now that he's probably not gonna follow through with her request, she'll just kind of say that, okay, so someone needs to get word to the Dashing Ravens that he's in possession of some parcels specific to them, some materials specific to the Emerald Alliance, and something that may have the crest of Valgard on it.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I will draft up a letter to send ahead to Valgard so I can warn the royal guard there about it.
And that's all Yulia is gonna say, cause that's about it.
And then Arca, if you'd like to go next.
Yes. Arca seems exceedingly happy but that the request is simply to stop Sterkin. He flexes his talons and says, I was honestly ready to go ahead and kill him, so if you're gonna drop the charges for that, sure.
Very well. I think we'd prefer him alive, but you know, I guess I can't stop you.
What is
He's
alive?
going down.
He's going down.
Let's not add murder to our list of charges, please.
Too late. Let's go. Already decided.
Oh, he'll be alive. Just, maybe not one piece.
Alive in spirit, but dead in body.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, as long as he can talk, right?
Exactly.
Was there anything
He
else?
needs to run his mouth, not his legs.
Oh my god. Oh, is there anything else Arca wanted to say?
That's it for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Nershellist.
He kind of looks back at Arca with like weird respect, which, I mean, coming from a drow is insane. But he looks forward at Gila and he says, "This might be kind of untoward, but regarding our success in stopping Sterkin, I have a request to make."
Certainly. What might that be?
If we stop Sterkin and come back here, I want you to let my friend fight your guard.
The
Ooh.
Aarakocra?
Yeah, him. I want him to fight your dragon.
Like Pokemon fight.
Oh.
Birdman, I choose you.
I mean, I know the captain is never one to turn down a good duel. I'm sure he wouldn't really have any reason to deny such a request.
Even better. This day just
Well-
keeps getting even better.
He's like, well, he just hit my friend, so I think it's only right that he's able to get a few hits in himself.
I see. Oh, okay, I will,
She's just like, okay.
I will keep that in mind.
It's a fair game for Archer to just rage in the middle of
I love it.
Because, like, Narcellus knows that he can just make weird shit happen, so he's over here rubbing his hands together like, I'm gonna watch that guy freak out.
It's gonna be glorious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Got it. All right. So as you guys converse there with her, you hear like a rattling from further down in the prison, and you can like kind of see a pair of hands sticking out of the cell that was just beyond where Narcellus and Arca were kept. And you hear that female voice from earlier drifting down and say, "Wow, so they get to leave on good behavior, but I get stuck here." And Jira just like glares past everyone and she calls down, "You know very well you have not been good behavior."
I don't want to mess with
What's
her
your name,
grandma.
Tiefling? Oh, and I can't even see she's a Tiefling. I'm just assuming. Brethren.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You're just assuming everyone's a tiefling.
Well, she's in jail. She's gonna be.
Yeah, right?
You know, she has the attitude. It's fine.
And there's a pause before the voice responds. "It's Famea. You know, one of these days, maybe I'll catch up to you guys. You seem kind of interesting."
In the dead of the night while you're asleep.
As I steal your stuff.
And Jira will just quickly motion for everyone to come after her into the front room where they may come and collect all of their things that had been confiscated, but were
Gotta get Tove's tuba.
Oh my god.
Gotta get the
I forget
didgeridoo.
about that. Oh my god.
Never
I
forget that
liar.
Tove has a tuba.
Mhm.
The bagpipes are heavy.
Yeah. All right, and then that then is where we are going to wrap up for tonight.